Hello, everybody, and welcome to the grand finale of the Christmas Week Gameroom Discourse podcast. This topic is going to be the Great Microsoft Debate. I am Mike.
I'm James.
And I'm Joey.
And the origination of this topic stems from a hypothetical that I posed to my good friend, my big boy, James. I said, and I did not say so very clearly, we had a debate that I have since then cleared up some of my inconsistencies and things that I just were wrong about, and they have done the same. But it initially stemmed from my saying of, do you believe that the Xbox would have succeeded without Halo? And what I had meant by that, which is what led to some confusion, I meant, do you believe the Xbox consoles would have succeeded without Halo? To both statements, James and Joey both stated, Joey stated he doesn't know, but James stated that he believes it would have. I believe it wouldn't have. Essentially, that whole thing boiled down to I was not very clear with certain things. I was also being interrupted by a lot of things and doing interrupting of my own. And none of us were really able to get full points out because every time we tried, the others we were interrupting each other, and it got very heated very quickly. Since then, we have all done our research, myself included. It's still going to get heated because I am very passionate about my distaste for Microsoft, and will open this by saying I am biased in favor of Nintendo and biased in a distaste towards Microsoft because I grew up with Nintendo, and I've always disliked Microsoft's business. So I naturally, when I found out that they had a gaming thing, when I was a kid, I found out that they had Xbox. I instantly disliked it, and also realized that, in my opinion, PlayStation has always been better than Xbox. And so here we go. So we're going to posit the same initial hypothetical, as you guys know, you two know, but for the group, for the fans. The question is, do you believe that Xbox would be where it is today had Halo not either A, come out or just not succeeded? I think it would not. I think it would have fallen by the wayside, and Microsoft still may be making games, but the Xbox would have fallen.
I don't believe that. Personally, I feel like Microsoft as a company had enough resources to have placed another game or franchise into the slot of which Halo fills now to make it successful.
And I disagree. So Xbox has, and now I've gone back and fact checked myself. They have 4 big exclusive brands: Halo, Fable, Forza, and Gears. Now, Fable is more recent, so I don't know how much I want to count that into this number since we're right now talking about the original Xbox. But for all intents and purposes, Fable is also one of them. Halo is, without a doubt, this is something that we all agreed on. Halo is, without a doubt, the biggest Xbox thing. Halo is one of the, if not the biggest Xbox driving factor, yes, alongside its online. But it's Halo. That is something we all came to agree on. But that's really the only thing we came to agree on. So I believe that Xbox has never shown that they can make such a big thing like Halo. Like Forza is a racing thing, and there are better and maybe some that aren't better, but there are other alternatives that Forza would have fallen by the wayside. You know, it would have still been there, maybe, but like Mario Kart, just as the leading racing thing, would have just demolished it as it does. Gears is. You guys don't think Mario Kart's better than or more? They're different.
No, they're different.
They filled out different things.
Yes. Is there an open world alternative for racing games?
No, not really. Not that I can think of.
It's like that weird little mix of genres that it's like exclusive to Xbox that drives people towards it. I don't really
What
think
about
there would.
Burnout?
Is it Burnout? Yes, Burnout's kind of open world, but it's also a third party that's like on everything. It was also on Xbox,
That's
and
another. That's my point. Like, but these games are on everything,
yes, but I'm saying with
whereas Forza is
with
exclusive.
with Burnout, it's its own different thing because yes, the first Forza Horizon games are like you can only drive on the roads and then there are fences that just keep you in, and that's what Burnout is as well. But with the most recent ones, you can drive on anything. You can drive on farmland, you can drive on cactuses. You can
I feel like Forza was the more of an inspiration for Burnout, and thus
So what about
Burnout
Need
wouldn't
for
be what it
Speed?
is. Need for Speed was not open world in terms
it's
of
mission
like.
No.
based.
Yes,
Okay.
has been mission based for
Yeah,
most of its franchise.
and not only that, but Forza has like two different things because the original Forza, it's like a realistic. It's basically Gran Turismo, where it's as realistic as it possibly can be with the technology that it has. Whereas there's
But
Forza
still
Horizon.
being
Yeah,
with Forza Horizon still being like wacky and like allowing you to race against a freaking train or a plane or
yeah.
whatever the hell that can be considered a freaking vehicle.
So yeah, it's kind of like twin brothers, where you're kind of talking about both of them, but one's a little bit more popular than the other for casuals, and the other one's a bit more popular than the other for
But
competitive people.
PlayStation is better hardware, and if there's an alternative, you would just buy the PlayStation because it's better hardware.
You
That's
mean more
my
success?
Better hardware really matter, and also that's subjective.
It's
The
no.
numbers do not lie. I have the numbers here.
You're saying more successful hardware. Like
More
more
successful
successful
doesn't mean
console. If you're talking about better hardware, no, because what I'd consider better hardware is performance. And it's always been that Xbox is the
Xbox.
best performing console. It's basically like the highest NPC.
PlayStation
while the
has
others
been
are lagging.
doing more done like graphics in the terms of that,
Mm,
and they've
Yes.
always
I
made
disagree.
sure.
I mean, that comes down to opinion, but I disagree. I think the numbers
And-
are
and
more important.
honestly, a lot
What
of people
sells
don't
more
have.
is more successful.
Yes,
I
but you
don't-
said better hardware, which I
Better
consider
Well, the
something
hardware
different.
is the console.
No, I
No,
consider better hardware and
Again,
successful hardware two different
they
things.
have different hardware, and they're both good in different things.
PlayStation's
Normally,
better at more things.
They could also be
Debatable.
very useless in minuscule things as
Okay.
well.
It could be
So-
many little things that add up in numbers, or it could be like two big things that add up in quality.
Mm.
It's a very
Okay.
difficult debate.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that point. I'll give you that. I personally think that PlayStation has better hardware now, but that's an opinion. Now, what I was initially saying was they have not. They have first off, they haven't made a new IP in forever, and
What do
they
you
have.
mean forever.
Well, they've only been out for 20 years, so in that amount of time, they've made three, and I think they own Fable or something like that. And
So would you not consider Ori part of the Xbox lineup?
well, no, because it's not.
Even though
Exclusive.
it's a second party.
Well, that and it's not exclusive to them.
I
Yes.
don't think exclusives really matter that much in terms of successful company.
But my whole point is, if there's better hardware for the soft, in my opinion, PlayStation has better hardware. So whether or not you agree with that or not,
But does
my-
the better hardware really matter, Mike?
to me it does.
Better hardware. I don't know if you're really selling games and getting it on other consoles, and
my
they're still
point,
buying their games.
you need
They're
to
still
look.
buying their games.
My point is, if there's better hardware, I believe that PlayStation has better hardware. So ignore that for a second. But if let's say in a hypothetical world, it is a fact that PlayStation has better hardware. Let's just say that for the point of argument.
Okay. I'll give you that. If I'll say in a better world, it has better hardware. Xbox has better software.
I disagree.
They say that they have the best online system.
We're going to talk about their online because their online is a big problem.
So
They
you
make
wouldn't,
the
you wouldn't
best
say better
GUI.
software is more
But
like the games. You're talking about firmware.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
That as well.
firmware.
their software is almost universally shared with other with PlayStation and sometimes even Nintendo, and that's why I'm saying their exclusives are what set them apart. And their exclusives, there's not many of them, and they haven't shown that they can really make something different.
Do they need an exclusive though? They have a ton of
But
second parties that
that's
are
why
also
I'm saying
successful.
that's why I'm saying if Halo hadn't come out, that's what they needed. They needed Halo to make it so that they don't need another exclusive. So if they didn't have Halo, I believe that they would have struggled because they would have just Microsoft has a thing where they just like to throw things at the wall and see what sticks. And they got lucky with Microsoft. They got lucky with Halo. I don't think that they would have. I mean, they probably could have. They have enough money to do it, but they're. I don't know. I don't think that that's a valid statement. I don't think
I
that.
wouldn't say luck has anything to do with it, honestly.
Yeah, usually the companies that they buy out have been shown to be successful before. Like with Ori, the people who made it worked on like AM2R. I know that there's one major contributor who worked on AM2R, which we talked about earlier. And there are other they bought out Bethesda because Bethesda's it works.
Bethesda has been failing. It has worked. It's been selling, so they bought it. They do well with what they have.
Yes,
they also get rid of a lot of what they have, or don't do anything with a lot of what they have. Look
like
at Rare.
Rare.
They destroyed Rare. They completely destroyed Grant Kirkhope, who you guys know who Grant Kirkhope is.
Yes.
Joey, explain who Grant Kirkhope is. Because I have a thought in my head and I don't want to lose it.
He is the composer for the basically everything Rare. Usually, it's I think Donkey Kong 64, Banjo Kazooie, Banjo Tooie. It's a lot.
Yeah, Grant Kirkhope has been literally quoted. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick, because I want to get the quote proper. Grant Kirkhope, who is the legendary composer for Rare, as Joey just explained, literally stated that he left Rare after Microsoft bought it because Microsoft killed Rare. They wouldn't let them do the games that fans wanted. They wouldn't let them make another real Banjo or a real Conquer or a real they wouldn't let them. And they do it with other things. Like also, let me because a lot of your one of your
wouldn't
bigger
let them. Wouldn't let them. I mean, understand. I mean, they wouldn't greenlight a project probably because they didn't think it was profitable.
It was proven to be profitable at the time. Banjo-Kazooie was really, really profitable.
It was profitable when
they bought it, and then they greenlit an spin-off game, and of course it didn't do well because they also didn't market it very well.
Okay. Before Microsoft bought it, when was Banjo? When was the last Banjo game?
I didn't expect that question. So let me look it up. Banjo Tooie, released in 2000.
And when did they buy Rare?
2002.
Okay then. So 2 years afterwards. What were the sales of Banjo Tooie?
It was a year and a half.
Year and a half. What were the sales of Banjo Tooie?
Well, it was enough for it to immediately
Not enough.
start.
I want to know. I want to know.
Okay.
Yeah, because with Rare, it's two things. It's like, yes, they did do Banjo, but they also made like other things, like GoldenEye.
Here you go. Upon release, now remember, this is 2000, so inflation's got to dial back a bit in your head. Upon release, Banjo-Tooie was critically acclaimed and sold more than 3 million copies worldwide, which is a lot.
At the time, yeah.
I mean, compared to other games, though.
Yeah. Yes, it's still a lot. Especially on a console like the N64 that was failing. You can't sit there and tell me that that's not successful. The franchise had 2 games.
A franchise with 2 games is...
It's not a franchise. Exactly.
It's not a franchise.
It's an IP. But they killed it. They wouldn't greenlight it. After they failed, to make a spin-off game
I
that no
also-
one wanted. And that's not the only one. They wouldn't greenlight Conquer. They wouldn't greenlight like these games that have since become legendary and were great at the time. But like, hold on.
They have since become legendary, but they weren't legendary at that time.
No, but they were great at that time because they hadn't had time to become legendary. But they were still great. Microsoft makes games that aren't like makes sequels and makes games that like aren't super successful, and they still make them anyway. Like,
Mike, are you
not
playing
all of
with
the
your phone?
Halo. No, yeah, I'm scratching because I'm nervous sick. But like, what was the Halo game that was like really really bad? I forget which one it was. Like
Halo
it was
4?
pretty. Yeah, Halo 4 did really bad, but because it's their baby, they still made more sequels. Banjo Kazooie was Rare's
I
baby.
wouldn't say because it was their baby. It's because they had like
Halo is
several
definitely Xbox's
I
baby.
wouldn't say because it was their baby. I'm not denying it's their baby. I'm saying because it was their baby that
Well,
they
they
did
can't
that.
just
I would
quit
say
it.
mostly it's because they had several other games before that were super successful.
And Banjo has only had 2 successful games of the 2 games that have been made for it. I don't count Nuts and Bolts because it's not a Banjo game; it's a racing game.
That's kind of unfair to it, then, because
How, Joey?
a
Back me up on
company
this
could
one. How is that
easily
not
see
fair?
it. Company could easily see that as a game and it not doing well,
But if you
as
look
a
at the
part of the
2 games
franchise and
before
not
it-
doing
if you
well.
look at the 2 games before it when they were under Nintendo, and then you look at what those games were, and then you look at the third one after Microsoft bought it, and you think, I wonder why this didn't sell well. It's not going to take
Correlation
the
doesn't mean causation, Mike. That's a
okay.
big fallacy.
That's true, but like
That's
it's
a
not
big
what.
fallacy.
That's like considering Chibi Robo Ziplash a Chibi Robo game. When it's
Consider it
completely
part of the franchise.
a
It
lot of
doesn't
people
fit
would
the
disagree
normal
with you with
franchise.
that.
Okay, so I'd say it is, but it isn't. It is in. It's not in spirit, but it is in name.
Okay, yeah, fine. Yes,
It's a weird
Fine.
stipulation.
that basically means we're both right, which does nothing.
Yes. Thank
It's gray area.
You're welcome.
It's a gray area.
You're welcome.
Okay. Now
This is me,
your-
Gray
one of
Area
your-
Joe.
One of your big points in the previous debate, the uneducated debate, we'll call it, for a lot of parties, myself in the big one, was I don't pay attention much to online because I don't use it a lot. And I didn't know that Xbox was leading the way in the online. So I did a lot of research on that. Now, one reason why I hate Microsoft was because it was greedy. Now, this I found, it backs that up a lot more, and I didn't even know,
Mike,
and it's like the
Mike.
first thing.
Mike,
Yes.
please tell me you're going to correlate the online thing to them being, like, greedy, because otherwise it's going to feel like you just said that and then left it alone.
Oh, no, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Okay, then. It just felt like you were going off on a tangent.
I'm about to, but yeah, it's so their practices. Okay, so I'm reading from what like my document that I have. So Microsoft's practices are known for being extremely greedy, and they focus on getting as much money as possible. For example, online multiplayer, which I found, online multiplayer on Xbox 360 and Xbox One requires Xbox Live Gold, which is $10 a month or something like that. And other examples include Microsoft. Like they released Microsoft. I'm trying to mix the word Minecraft and Microsoft, and it's not coming out well. Other examples include Minecraft Bedrock Edition for Xbox One, PS4, Switch, and Windows, with just microtransactions full of it. Overcharging for games like the Kinect, Joyride, Halo 3.
Okay. Hold on here. I'm going to stop you right there. PlayStation Online has also existed, and you had to pay for it. And also with Xbox Gold, you at least got something else along with it, as in games with gold.
They
So I
charged
feel like
They charged a premium in-game purchase for Microsoft Solitaire Collection.
then don't buy it.
But why would
Then
you
don't
do
buy
that?
that Solitaire collection.
Then don't buy Xbox.
No, because there's other stuff besides just a Solitaire collection, and I feel like
Also,
that just
They forced
remove.
Valve, and this is a quote that I have from an anonymous source. from an article, an anonymous source.
Forced Valve. Okay.
They forced Valve to put a price on on DLC for the 360 versions of Left 4 Dead and Team Fortress 2.
Team Fortress 2 didn't get DLC for that. First of all, that they would need a price for it, considering that they would want some money from it. And I don't think that would be like.
But you needed a gold membership just to play with each other.
Nowadays, everything needs a membership.
Yeah, but
except for PC gaming, the best.
Yeah, PC gaming is always going to be the king. But, I mean, that's not really a hard debate to say. I agree with that.
Also, that's still Microsoft, because remember, Windows is run by Microsoft.
Yeah, but Windows isn't the only PC gaming.
Yeah. It's
it
the
is
better one out of the ones you have options for.
It is the majority leader. There's nothing better, really.
And that's fine.
Because Mac gaming is basically non-existent, and then Linux gaming is getting better, but it's still not there.
It's tough to even start.
It's fine. So, I'll give Microsoft Windows. I'll give it that. That's fine. That's good. I'll give it that. All right? That's fine. That's a totally different topic. I'm talking about Xbox. Okay?
Yes.
Everybody loves PC. And if you don't, I don't know what you're doing. You probably don't have enough money.
So your point is that it was greedy for them to make a gold subscription in order to play online games.
When you could play online for other things for free.
At the time.
Name them, please?
Well, no, at the time.
Name them, please, for at the time.
Oh, no, you couldn't at the time.
Exactly.
But then why didn't they change it? Why didn't they change it when competition came up?
Why didn't they make it better? Why didn't they? They did. They literally did. You didn't
free.
Even.
Nintendo. Wait, wasn't Wii Online free?
Yes, it was.
No, it was, but it was trash. PlayStation, decided to do PlayStation Network, which isn't free.
It was partway through the PlayStation 3. It started out free, but then they made it charge. It used to be like PlayStation Plus used to be this, oh hey, you get a game collection and stuff. So it was like Gold, but not.
It was literally exactly like Gold, but it wasn't like.
But
it
you
didn't
have
have
to pay for
the
online
benefits or pluses that Gold would give you.
Yeah. Kind of.
I'm on the
I mean, they have a different thing now, which is Games with Gold. And Gold, I mean, there's Games with Gold, there's Game Pass as well. Honestly, then they're much better versions of what they used to be. Like, you say, like, they haven't improved, and I feel like that's unfair when they have, like, granted. You literally said they haven't improved by having gotten better.
I said that they didn't improve against the competition.
No, they have. No, they have.
Well.
Okay. PlayStation. Okay, the equivalent for Game Pass is PlayStation Now. PlayStation Now is trash. It is absolute trash.
Oh, and also there's the Nintendo Premium one, that we talked about before. Nintendo's online thing. And Game Pass is clearly the best out of all of them.
So what have we learned? What have we learned from this subject of the debate? It's that Mike doesn't know much. It's that Mike doesn't know much about online. He should stop trying to argue about it.
Yes, and Mike is the one that's leading it. That's the thing we're saying.
Mike does not understand online because I don't use it very much.
And that's fair. You don't choose it based on online. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other people who love playing online games who choose Xbox because it's like the leading brand in terms of online.
In that like context. Their subscription services actually do a decent job.
I know it's debatable, but you don't know much about
getting free games and classic games with Gold, as well as also being able to get free games on launch with Game Pass is pretty nice.
Yes. I do agree with you on the greedy part, because recently they did try to double the price for Game Pass and Gold, and it was like critically
not
panned.
Well received. Yeah. It was not well received.
And so they dialed it back.
Like every company is, but at least they dialed it back, unlike Nintendo recently.
Nintendo recently is the king of being greedy. But historically, I think Xbox started it.
I mean, they're the ones that, they started it. But did other companies have to copy it?
No, but when you have a competition...
But they did, and it was a good idea. That's why they copied it.
It was an idea that was good
being
for
greedy
making
is a
money.
good idea. Being
It's-
greedy is a good idea.
For making money.
No, I'm saying it was a good
James,
business
you literally
strategy.
just said it's a good idea.
Yes, when you're going from a business perspective, yes, it is.
For making
Having a
money.
subscription service is better for your business.
Okay,
in a certain context, it is a good idea. In other contexts, it's not. But we're talking about this certain context.
But we're not talking about the business. We're talking about why they're successful. And if you're being greedy, your fans aren't going to like you.
I don't think that's going to stop anyone. I'm going to be honest with you.
I agree with that, but I'm like I don't understand.
It's a company.
Your point.
It's a company. It's going to be greedy because its main objective is to get money.
Okay. All right.
I've never disputed that they're greedy. I've said that they're busy.
You don't believe that they're the most greedy out of the big three.
No.
Not right now, and I don't.
Not right now? No, I agree.
They've also,
not right now.
I mean, they made a good idea and they were able to monetize it. I think, deserving to monetize it is a.
But $10 to play with your friends in 2000 and whatever.
Considering you weren't able to do it at all before, yeah.
You could just go over your friend's house.
Then why don't you go over your friend's house? But people didn't. They decided, hey, it's nice that I can play online, and also I can play with people across the world.
Multiplayer was not a new thing at that point in time. Smash was out for years at that point, the first one.
But online multiplayer was
was originated with Xbox, and Smash did not have online before Xbox did.
No, I know that. That's not what I said. I know that. I was talking about multiplayer in general, but I know that. What I'm saying is, it was too much at that time. $10 for kids to just play with friends online at that time was like $30, $40.
Mike, that's unfair. That's unfair.
How is it unfair?
Put your own prices on something that you have no idea about. Come on now.
In 2008, we had a lot of inflation.
I'm gonna need an economist on this, man. I can't have him just be like, "Oh, it'd be $30." Throwing out numbers here.
I'll do the math.
Didn't actually do the math.
Okay.
Gonna call the economy police on this man for freaking just making up numbers.
Hello, the economy. Arrest this man.
Arrest this man. We're clearly just making up numbers.
$10 in 2000 is the equivalent in purchasing power to about $26.14 today.
Okay, 26.13.
I wasn't very
around 30.
I said 30.
Yes, but now we fact checked it, so we know for a fact
that it's true. Saying that was sus. Okay,
right.
there. $26. 26. Okay, 26.
And do you think that's still
exaggerating? Oh no, I think it's highway robbery if I had other options, but if it's the only option, I'll take it. And also, it still did well.
Yeah, but that's because there was nothing to compare it to.
It also started it.
They made their.
They were also able to adjust it afterwards.
You can't judge success if there's no competition.
If people,
yes, they can. If there's it's called a monopoly, and that's very successful.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you that one.
There.
Disney.
You want a dispute for that? There.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna say if there's only one product and people are buying it, you can't say it's not successful because there's no competition.
They also originated it. It's a good idea, and they were able to profit off of it.
Yes.
And then they were able to adjust it afterwards.
They haven't adjusted it.
Yes, it is. It's $10. It's actually what is the subscription price for that $10 one? For how much time?
So Xbox Gold for I guess does it go by month?
It depends on which one. It could be yearly. It could be 3 months.
All right, we'll look at the month.
I don't know exactly. I need you to give me a proper number.
Okay.
And for what freaking year? I don't know what year.
All right, so I'm looking at it right now. So it still says it's $10 for 1 month, and so that hasn't gone down. But technically, I guess in a weird way with inflation, I guess it has gone down.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so it's gotten cheaper.
It's stayed the same, so it's gone down.
Which is why they tried to bring it up, but then there was backlash.
That's weird to think about. Because of inflation, the price has stayed the same, but it's actually gone down.
Yes.
All right. That's weird to think about. So it's pretty much the same as Nintendo's, actually, except they offer a 1 month. Whereas Nintendo is 3 months, 6 months, and a year, right?
Something like that? I don't remember.
Nintendo's is actually it's $20 for 3 months or something like that. Or no.
It's $20 for a year.
Yeah, and Xbox, guess what, is $60 for a year.
Yes.
Okay.
But Xbox has the better online.
Gold, it has the better online service. It also offers
3 times the price.
It's 3 times the service, and I can say that with confidence when compared to Nintendo.
I'd say it's more than 3 times the service.
See? I feel like it's a more than worth it price.
And that's fine. I'm not disputing which one is better quality, because Nintendo is probably below third.
Yeah.
So, let's look at PlayStation. What is PlayStation's online called?
PlayStation Plus.
PlayStation Plus, yeah.
Yes. I know because I pay for all of them because I'm a shill.
PlayStation Plus is the exact same as Xbox. The exact same.
Yeah.
Exact same price.
Exact same price. Doesn't offer the exact same services. Does PlayStation Now offer the exact, like, does it give you, like, games with the PlayStation Plus?
Yes.
Okay then.
It does, but you have to stream them instead of being able to download them and play them off your console.
That's actually infuriating. Actually, that's actually a little bit infuriating. You can't just let them download it and own it.
Wait, it says you can download them.
Really? That's new.
Yeah.
Is that
like
new?
I looked up. I'm like, PlayStation Plus free games. I'm like, PlayStation Plus free games for December 2021. And the first thing that comes up, like Knockout City, First Class Trouble.
No, that's PlayStation Plus, not PlayStation Now. Those are 2 different things.
Yeah.
You told me PlayStation Plus.
PlayStation Plus, and then I said there's PlayStation Now. Okay, we're going like from one thing to the next, and it's very hard to keep track.
Okay. Do the equivalent of PlayStation for Xbox Gold and the equivalent for Game Pass.
I don't know what that is. I'm
asking Joey for that. Yes.
Damn, do I have to do math?
No,
what are you making me do?
You can just look it up.
Oh, you're making me look things up with the internet?
I haven't looked up. Just give me the damn name.
Okay, PlayStation Now. PlayStation Now is $60 per year, so that's
the same as all the other 3.
Yeah. And then Xbox
2, not 3, 2.
Game Pass is
I hate online. It's ruining all of my points. I hate the online.
Yeah, no, it's way too confusing.
It's making all of my points harder.
Yeah, no, these things are shit.
If online wasn't a thing, I would be winning this argument hands down. I don't even think we'd be having this argument.
But it is. We're not. But it's not. We live in this timeline, Mike.
Okay, I'm going to say right now, trying to find the Xbox Game Pass thing for a year is really shit because now there's Game Pass and then Game Pass Ultimate and then
it's confusing. It's not great. It's not the best.
It's not great.
I was having the same problem.
The organization for it, yes, is not the best.
No, not just organization, advertisement, and then
advertisement for it is not the best.
With Gold, you can get 1 year for $60. With Game Pass, you can only get.
And Game Pass is the quote unquote better one where you actually get the games.
$15 per month. But,
no, you can get games with
there's a loophole
as well.
There's a loophole. Yes.
You can
are we counting loopholes?
I mean, it's something for the people to use.
We're not counting anything illegal because that's not
No,
not
it's not. It's
fair.
not illegal.
Microsoft literally
okay.
endorses like so many prizes to get Game Pass and
Okay, I was
Gold
gonna
for
say I'm
free.
not endorsing anything illegal in this argument.
They
Because
endorse
then
it themselves. You don't have to worry about it.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay, so I'm gonna explain it.
Oh,
So
boy.
what? Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is gonna get complicated because the first month of Game Pass Ultimate is $1. After that, you have to pay $15 a year, or not a year,
Not
but a month.
sponsored.
$15 a month. But instead, if you have gold, you can get 1 year of gold for $60 and then turn that entire year into Game Pass Ultimate for just $1 extra if you haven't done it. But if you have done it, it's only $15 extra, which then makes it's really weird. So I basically consider
We're not
it.
sponsored, I promise.
No, this is just
Microsoft
complete.
also. No, this isn't. That one is bullshit. I was gonna say Microsoft normally like has websites and other offers to get stuff for free, and normally grants you the first, normally they grant you the first month or like year at reduced price. Like they have
Yeah.
sales on it all the time.
The thing
So
is,
with
how many
that-
people are
with that-
actually gonna get that?
Yeah. With that said, it seems like James, you still think that they're the best at online, but it seems like you've gone down a couple pegs.
I said
Not
they're the
enough
best
to
at all
pay.
online. I didn't say that it was like all around perfect.
All right. So
That's
with that all being
unfair to
said,
anything.
yeah, with that all being said, I think that with PlayStation having the alternative, and me personally believing that PlayStation has the better consoles, like has the stronger, more quality consoles and the better games.
Mm.
They have better
Better
exclusives as
performing,
well.
better performing.
better performing, and they have most of the same games that Xbox has. Why do you still believe that Xbox would have succeeded without Halo?
Because guess what? People buy consoles based on their friends if they're playing online. If people buy it on Xbox, it's an exponential loop.
Yeah, but there's cross-platform multiplayer.
There didn't
That
used to
wasn't
be.
around for a long time.
When did that start?
Hasn't been around like the last 5 years, I would say.
Less than that.
Less than that.
Because the whole thing is whoever's the person in lead doesn't want to stoop down to the other person's level to make cross-platform play because their servers are superior and that kind of stuff. Yes, I know I'm kind of anal about this. What?
You might be a little more surprised about this than you think. How long ago do you think the first cross-platform game was when it started? How long? You guys said about 5 years less.
We're saying consistently, like
No,
for
no,
a lot of
that's
games.
not what you said. That is not. If that's what you're saying now, that is not what you said. You guys said it.
Okay,
has,
cross-platform game. First cross-platform game. Give it to us, Mike.
I got it, but it didn't give me a date, so I'm looking at the release date now. That's all.
Okay.
2002. Final Fantasy 11.
That was an online game, right?
That was online on. Yeah, that's an online game.
Xbox 360, PS2, and PC.
Okay, then.
And it was the first game to allow gamers across multiple platforms to play together.
Okay. Now, was it a regular practice at that time?
That wasn't even regular until Xbox One, I would say.
But
and at that point, if you have three iterations
if you're updating your point, if you're updating your thing to it wasn't regular then, that's fine. But my thing is, it was not. It didn't happen initially in the last even decade.
Yeah, no. Initially is a completely different story. We're talking about regular, like with Fortnite. I know how much.
All right.
Yeah, Fortnite. It's cross-platform. Plus, there's Dead by Daylight. There's
Dead by Daylight's great.
Other games.
A bunch of Call of Duty games now.
Call of Duty. So it's so oversaturated.
That's your opinion.
You think it's not?
I think that the recent ones are not the best, but they could easily come back with another.
But do you agree that it's a very oversaturated franchise?
Yes, but it has to be because
it's Call
casual
of Duty.
Gamers. Remember, we're not casual gamers. We're
what? I'll give you that. I will wholeheartedly give you that because you agreed with me and you provided a reason as to why. I'll give you that.
Yes.
I'll give you that. It's fair. All right, so you're updating that. You're updating that initial standpoint too. It became a major practice in the last 5
I
years.
mostly meant that it was a major practice.
All right,
But
Yes.
yeah,
fine.
let's say that.
That's fine.
Yeah, subtext is
fine.
weird.
Well, no, because I mean, what you said was it started in the last 5 years, and I'm like, no, it didn't. But
Yeah,
I get
meant as a
what you're
general
saying. I get what you're
practice.
saying now. I
Yeah.
get what you're saying now.
yeah, it's
Go on.
weird saying something and
It
then
is weird.
expecting someone to.
It's fine.
Conversation
It
is
didn't
weird.
become the
Human
norm
language is
until
weird.
recent. It didn't become the norm until like the last 5 years.
Yes.
Or it's not even really a norm anymore. It's still like
It is
kind
not
of
a norm.
there.
Yeah, I was gonna
It's
say it's
still
not
a norm.
Yeah. Because who knows whenever PlayStation's going to say, oh, hey, you can't play with Xbox people anymore. Yeah. Because they don't
Some
allow...
games that are cross-platform literally just say, hey, you're just going to do it with PC and PlayStation or Xbox and PlayStation, and the PlayStation and Xbox people can't play with each other.
Yes.
That
Or
has
there's
happened a couple of times.
there's no cross-platform progression, which is a different thing where, hey, if you put this many hours into the game and you want to play it on a different platform for many other reasons, like whichever one's the most convenient at the time, yeah, you're going to have to start from the beginning, which is kind of shit.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a
I mean,
time
also,
frame.
if we're on the subject of greedy,
I
still,
have a time frame for you guys.
I do want to point out the fact how PlayStation literally, stuff like, I mean, didn't stuff the market, but freaking kept PlayStations off the market and trickled them in, so they're more scarce and more people wanted them.
That's Nintendo's trademark. Every company does that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
But
not
PlayStation did it very noticeably this time.
That's what I would call a
No,
good
that was
strategy.
James.
That means people buy more.
James, that was
Yes.
because of the CPU and the silicon shortage. All of that
Oh
shit.
yeah, you forgot. I forgot about that. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Forgot about that.
Point for me and Joe.
No. I don't know about point. I was just saying
No.
something that was objectively
I'm
wrong.
there's no points. It's a joke.
Yeah.
I have a
Also,
time frame for you. I have a time frame. I know how much you like them.
also the
time
worst company for this is Nintendo.
Well, yeah, Nintendo's not great.
Artificial
they just have the
inflation.
best games. They just have the best games.
Also subjective.
Well,
But
yeah,
okay.
but that's my opinion, and that is your
Picking
opinion
whichever
as well.
console
Also
you want is
subjective,
completely
but okay.
subjective.
Well, yeah, of course. All of this is subjective, except we're providing facts to support our opinions.
Yes.
Anyway, I have a time frame for you for the cross platform when it started to kind of become more commonplace. I should say.
I wouldn't even say it's commonplace now, but fair enough.
No,
Yeah.
but like more than just once every couple years a game. Like when it became more 2012 is 2012 to 2014 is the time frame that I'm getting from most of my searches. Some say 2010 to 2014. Some say 2009 to 2013. Some say 2012 to 2015. So I just kind of averaged it out and said, 2012 to 2014.
Yes, and I'm going to say right now, things change with times because that's probably when, like, I don't know, console can be on the lead and then they stop allowing cross-platform play because, we're the best one yet, so we don't like to mingle with the peasants.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. So
back to why I hate Microsoft. This has kind of gotten off topic. I also hate. Okay, let me bring out my big sheet of 20 points, which we've gotten through about 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
We talked about their greed. I got my points across, but I was also wrong on a couple things. But that's fine. Okay. So the second thing that I found, their consoles have some weird backward compatibility errors due to the limitation of the library of games.
Oh, at least they have backwards compatibility.
Yeah, at least they have backwards
compatibility.
PlayStation has
No, they have that very limited a lot of the time.
PlayStation has the best backwards compatibility.
No, are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Wait, who do you think does?
Xbox, considering they allow you stuff from all the way back from Xbox 360.
If you want to
play, sometimes even from Xbox One. I mean, from the original Xbox.
Okay.
Backwards compatibility with the original Xbox and the Xbox 360 is very limited, since only a certain number of games can be played, with some games being removed in firmware updates.
Okay, at least you can still play them because
You can play any PlayStation 2 games a lot of time on PlayStation 3, especially when it first came out.
Depends
And
on
right.
your PlayStation version. The first version of PlayStation 3 you can play PS2 games. The subsequent versions you cannot. And with the most recent console generation, I know this, I've researched this a lot. With the most recent console generations, with the PS4, PS5, yes, PS5 is backwards compatible with PS4 and the entire library, but what about PS3? If you have physical copies for PS3 games, you can't use them. PS2, you can't use them. PS1, you can't use them. At
But
least
some
with
Xbox
Xbox
360, some Xbox 360, blah, 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 blah. Some Xbox 360
But
models.
that's some, though. They still allow other ones from the Xbox 360 that can still
Some
go
Xbox
onto the
360.
Xbox One X.
Shut up. Some Xbox
No.
360.
You shut up.
Some,
You're blatantly ignoring what I'm saying. That they could.
I'm trying to finish my point.
and we're not letting you.
Some Xbox 360s models lack backwards compatibility altogether, with a message saying an update may be required for support the games that are already on the backwards compatibility list. If you can't play a game that's supposed to be backwards compatibility on your new console, then what's the point? Go on.
At least there is some backwards compatibility.
And there is on PlayStation.
No,
And they did allow that for a lot. No,
we're
there
talking
isn't.
about backwards compatibility in terms of physical games. Physical and digital games are different.
You can still play Xbox. I mean Xbox, not Xbox 360. Xbox games on the Xbox One.
And there's also
seriously,
continuously updating it. They recently added new games to the. They're continuously trying to get the licenses and certain,
because that's a hard point at that point. They look like they're at least trying. Like
yes.
it like they are not. It's not
On
like they're
June, on June 10th, 2019, Microsoft announced that they will stop adding more games to focus on Xbox Series X, so they will not be putting any more backwards compatible games on their consoles.
because it's a hard thing to do.
Yes, I agree with that.
And I don't.
And they still reached the farthest. They basically went out and was like, okay, this is the furthest we can possibly go. We should probably focus on other stuff because other things would just be out of reach and unreasonable to do.
Wait, hold on. I didn't. Where did?
It's hard to
I wrote down a
games.
I copied and pasted a point from an area because I didn't know what it meant, but it was very heavily placed. So I'm curious about what you guys have to say because I don't know what this means because I'm not smart.
So you wrote down a point not knowing what it means.
I wrote down a point due to its prevalence.
Let's just not tell him what it means, and that way he doesn't get to make his point. No, I'm kidding.
That way we win by default.
Well, this is more of a curiosity thing. A lot of people seem to put this in some shape or form into reasons why they dislike Microsoft. I don't know what it means. So maybe you could shed some light. UWP, in parentheses, I have Universal Windows Platform. It allows any device with Windows 10 to run your game, but in order to use it, you must have your game inside Windows Store, which will charge 30% of your entire total revenue. It also restricts.
It also restricts Xbox.
Windows is Xbox.
No.
Or Windows is Microsoft. Windows is Microsoft.
Windows is Microsoft. That isn't associated with Xbox, though.
I misspoke. It also restricts any kind of modding support. What is this? I know this isn't a problem with I know this isn't an Xbox thing, but I was looking up things why this like Microsoft as a whole.
It's a Windows Store thing, which is on PC. So yes, their PC. It was really bad. I'm going to tell you that right now. It was really bad because you can only buy certain games on the Windows Store. And yes, there were a lot of limitations. Now they're actually adding their games to Steam, the most prevalent marketplace for PC games.
Come here. All right, back to Xbox. Thank you for explaining that. Back to Xbox. This is not so much a reason why I dislike it. I thought it was funny, but like I'm sure a lot of diehard Xbox fans were really disappointed. Everywhere I went with I was like, criticisms of Xbox. Is Xbox good? Is Xbox bad? And everywhere I went, there was at least one point for each site. It was like, the Xbox One E3 announcement was a complete disaster.
Absolutely. I agree with you. 100%
Like, what?
agree with you.
Well, that's just a bad advertisement.
Yeah,
That's
no,
just
I
a
just
bad
thought it was funny.
advertisement. I don't think it's like a reason to hate them.
Here's what I had written down. The event led to widespread criticism for focusing more on TV integration, sports, and features rather than games. The company went on a massive damage control campaign shortly afterwards. This has led Microsoft executives to say some asinine stuff, such as Adam Orth telling critics of DRM to deal with it in a condescending manner, of course. And,
That's
and,
kind of funny. That's kind of funny. Hold on.
and if Don Matrix, now infamous, we have a device for those who can't get online. It's called Xbox 360. So,
Oof. Yeah, no, that was just terrible.
I'm like, there's some things I'm
That's
just kind of like,
just bad
okay,
marketing. I don't know
bad
if that.
marketing.
That's one bad. That's one bad PR
No,
moment.
I just thought it was funny. I just
And they
wanted to bring
were
it up.
very bad decisions. Absolutely. Even now,
Yeah, no one's offended
they're
by
still
it.
considered very bad decisions.
That was a cheap point in my favor. That was a cheap point. I'll admit.
I feel like PlayStation. I mean, other stuff has done worse though. But it was also funny how he's like, deal with it.
He started apparently he started a hashtag deal with it, and I'm like, all right, cool. I was like, let's just bring this up for shits and giggles.
Yeah,
Just
that-
funny to hear. Like, deal with it. Okay, then.
This isn't a
You're
good
an
point.
asshole, but okay then.
This is not one of my stronger points, and I dislike it because I found many things to counter it, but I'm going to say it anyway, and you'll obviously pick up on why I decided not to use it. I'm going to say it, but I'm not using it as a point. You'll pick up on it. Don't worry. The Xbox One X was an unfortunate waste of R&D. It was the most powerful console in the 8th generation. Also, initial counter right there. But many games didn't utilize its full capabilities, and even if they were most of the same graphical improvements seen in the PS4 Pro, which was $100 cheaper. The severe lack of compelling games made it hard to justify spending $500 on it. For those who did buy it, they got a huge slap in the face when Microsoft talked about the next Xbox. Fair, but like it was the most powerful
system at the time. It could
So I'm
handle
like-
things. It's
I'm
basically
like-
like a show of like, oh, okay, we can do this.
Yeah,
Here,
so
I'm
I
gonna give a
don't-
reason why they're good, but I'm gonna ignore it.
So yeah, I don't understand where that point came from. We could talk about the Kinect and how it was a blatant copy of Wii and how it failed, but that's beating a dead bush.
I feel like everyone was trying to just make a motion control system.
And
I
they
don't
failed.
think the Kinect was that. I don't think it was that bad of an attempt. They failed, but it wasn't that bad of an attempt. I mean,
Yeah.
capturing your entire body though is really pretty
they
hard.
They shot for the stars and they didn't even come close, but they at least shot for the stars.
Yeah.
So we don't need to talk
It
about
made
that.
some really good Just Dance games though with it.
Okay.
The Connect for the dancing games was pretty fire. I'll tell you that.
All right, that's all right. Whatever. That's a point into Microsoft failing, whatever way you put it.
I mean,
Kinect was not good. Kinect was not good.
Kinect, if you wanted to play Just Dance, was definitively the best way to play it, but that's just
Okay, but
it.
if Just Dance is your entire console's selling point,
It's not even an entire console. It's just the freaking
the only good thing about
that
it.
part of it. For the Connect, that's just Connect's selling point, not the console's selling point, dear
Also,
sir.
Yeah.
they kept They keep, not kept. They keep. I don't know why this is past tense. They keep milking Bedrock Edition for Minecraft to no end. Stop. It's not the definitive edition.
Milking it.
Stop. Like,
What do you mean keep
implement the
milking
Java
it?
edition. Implement the Java edition.
That's
the
kind of
console.
hard to do.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to do on a console.
Literally Java edition. Mike not
But
knowing
make
how
the game the
programming
same.
works over here.
Shut up. Make the game the same. Why do they make it a completely different thing?
Because it's hard to adapt it for a different freaking OS, Mike. To adapt
What is
it
that?
Operating system. It's the
System.
thing that runs the basic thing.
Okay, moving on.
Like literally, it's
I
just
don't know what
like,
that means. I don't know what that means.
it's just like, oh, the Xbox runs on a different software, so it's hard to code for it. We got to make this other edition for it. It's much easier to adapt.
And that
Just
other-
implement that Java edition. You gotta do the Java edition. It doesn't run on Java, you dingus.
Yeah, not all consoles
As a
accept
coder,
Java.
you pissed me off. You genuinely pissed me off there.
That's fine. I didn't.
You
I don't,
actually. Oh my god.
all right. So here's one of my other bigger points. Now let me read this because I have about a paragraph, but I'll read it fast. They have a huge habit of abusing, and I use that strongly, abusing their subsidiaries to death, mostly with executive meddling. They have shut down Ensemble Studios, Press Play, and Lionhead Studios, and even caused Darkside Studios, the studios were trying to develop the reboot of Phantom Dust, to close down after the cancellation. In addition, they reduced Rare into making shovelware titles for the Kinect after the mess that was obviously, as we talked about, Banjo and Nuts and Bolts. However, they have stopped developing games for the Kinect after Kinect Sports Rivals, and they're now back to developing regular games. And even still, they still sit on their IPs and pander to nostalgia.
I'm going to say they're not the exclusive companies to do that, and they're not the ones to do it the worst.
Okay.
I would say they're not the worst. Okay.
Sega is the worst.
Konami.
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot about them.
Yes, because
they haven't done anything about their IPs.
Yeah, they're trying to make people forget. Except they keep on bringing games in over and over that suck. But that's so they could still keep their IPs. Because if they don't make anything, then it goes to the public domain. They're not going to let that happen. They need to make money.
Yeah, I totally forgot about Konami. Other than Konami, I would say it's Sega, and then I would say Xbox because of Rare, and then I would say Nintendo, and then PlayStation.
I would actually say
if Rare was not a part of Xbox, I would say Nintendo in a heartbeat because of F-Zero, because of Star Fox. But they also revived a couple of the ones that would have still made me put Nintendo above Xbox. Once they revived Metroid, that kind of made me switch in that regard.
I get the joke.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how can you not call that pandering to nostalgia then? Nintendo is the most pandering to nostalgia game company of all.
It really is.
Yeah, but that is a one line in the entire paragraph that I read.
And I only said 2 lines about it. What's your point?
Also,
what's your point? I didn't spend a lot of time disputing that one line.
Okay, and I'm gonna say something that, you know how you're saying, like, it brings companies and then they fail, and so they, like, go bankrupt and they stop using them?
And there's evidence to support that.
Yes, they're not the only company to do that, and they're not the worst ones, because have you seen EA? Have you seen EA?
EA is not one of the big ones. EA is not one of the big 3. But yes, I would agree.
It ruined Star Wars games. Yes, hold on here, bud.
But EA is not Nintendo. EA is not PlayStation. EA is not Xbox. It is all of them. It does things for everyone.
Yes,
I would agree with you that they are the worst. 100%. Easy.
Yes,
no,
but
I would still say Konami's worse, but yes.
Yes, I'm just saying that with third-party games being on all of them, it's just... So you're saying that you hate Microsoft for being the worst first-party company?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the worst out of the 3
I thought that was kind of
I don't even consider it the worst out of the 3 options, to be honest.
Yeah, it's
worst.
I'd say it's actually kind of a tie between PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah, I'd say it's a toss-up between them.
I'll give you that, but I think the toss-up goes in favor of PlayStation.
It's still a toss-up. It's still a toss-up. That's like a tie.
But PlayStation, I believe, has better games.
Okay, and have you played them?
Yes, and a lot of the same games that Xbox has.
Have you played the Xbox games?
I've played Xbox games.
The Xbox games.
You mean the exclusives?
Yes.
I have played Halo 1 and 2 and 4.
Okay.
I have played Fable. Phenomenal. I love Fable.
Yes.
I haven't met somebody who dislikes Fable. I have not played Forza. I have seen it played, most notably by you, Joey. And I don't know anything about Gears.
Okay.
I don't like that. I don't like that style. I'm not a big shooter person. I don't like that style.
And I'm saying this is...
I've played... Wait, I want to finish my thought on what I played.
So we've established that Mike is biased.
Yes. I mean, we all are biased.
I mean, I said that I established that in the beginning, that I'm biased to disliking Microsoft. And that's why I dislike Xbox for
I
a lot
didn't
of
say
it.
that as a point. I was saying like
Oh,
we're
okay.
retreading ground.
Matter of
Got
fact,
it.
yes.
So I've also played, but I've played a lot of the big ones. I just admitted to playing 3 of the 4 exclusives. But so in regards, the most I've played is Nintendo, of course.
Yes.
But like when it comes to PlayStation, the exclusives that I played, Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, all 3 of Sly Coopers because they're fucking great. Well, all
Yes.
4 actually. Crash,
Now,
although it's not really exclusive anymore because it's now on the Switch. But before it was on the Switch, I had played them all. But now it's not exclusive, so we can't really say that.
yeah.
And same goes for
I mean,
Spyro.
Cooper isn't being made anymore, and Spyro isn't being
Same
made
goes
anymore.
for
I mean,
same
they
goes
do
for Spyro.
remake. They remake Spyro. I haven't seen a new Spyro game though.
I
Have we
played
had
all
a
of the
new
Jack and
Spyro game?
Daxters.
Hold on.
I've played the Jack and Daxters.
I mean,
Okay.
Skylanders is kind of that, but
So-
We're not talking about
No,
Skylanders.
not Skylanders. No, never talk about that.
I'm just saying it's the same It's the same company.
Yes. And I would say that
And
technically,
Spyro, I thought was on the Xbox. I got Spyro and Crash were both on the Xbox.
No, they weren't.
they are now.
They are now, but when I played them, they were not.
Yes.
I've also played God of War, which
Okay.
is great. Uncharted.
Now it's coming to PC. God of War's coming
Not
to PC.
there yet.
It's not there
It's not
yet.
there
It
yet.
is coming.
But okay, I don't want to include PC in a lot of this.
Why not?
That's kind of
Because-
hard to not include PC.
No, I mean for the exclusivity of the 3 big consoles. But okay, but that's fair. All right, well, fine.
I mean, when it comes to
I can go
Microsoft,
to
their
another-
biggest market is PC. If we take out PC, then they just lose.
That's why I said it's fair. That's why I said it's fine.
Yes.
Ghost of Tsushima was great. Ghost of Tsushima.
Never played it.
Really? The Last Guardian didn't do well, but I thought it was good. The Spider-Man game, obviously.
Oh,
great.
amazing.
Oh, that's because it's owned by Sony.
Detroit, well, which is PlayStation.
Yeah.
Detroit Become Human, I played. Bloodborne. Who doesn't love Bloodborne? The Last of Us, of course.
Actually.
Isn't like all of the Souls games just available on everything?
No, Bloodborne's
Blood-
exclusive to PlayStation.
Oh
To-
yeah.
To its detriment, I would say.
The first thing that comes up, Bloodborne. While the Dark Souls series remains From Software's most popular IP and on multiple consoles, Bloodborne is exclusive.
Yes.
For what reason? I don't even know why.
I don't know.
Because Sony
Until
paid
Dawn.
them.
Until Dawn, I've played.
Oh yeah, because Sony paid them. Okay, understandable.
Because nowadays exclusives are just, did you pay them enough money to make them only go to you?
Final Fantasy VII Remake, I played. Persona 5, I played.
Final Fantasy VII Remake is also coming to PC.
All right.
and
Fine.
Xbox.
Regardless, there's a lot more that I've played on PlayStation, and there's a lot more exclusives on PlayStation than there are on Xbox. I know we're talking about exclusives a lot. You know, it's going to be hypocritical for me to say this. I don't like exclusives. It's just that these are a point of topic in regards to this topic.
Yeah,
So
I don't like exclusives either.
I don't want people to think that I'm a big dick money bags, big, hard on for exclusives. I really think they're a bad thing.
Yeah.
But in the context of this conversation, exclusives are an important topic.
Yes.
Into a company's gaming success. So.
And then I would say that there are weird exclusives. Like it's hard to explain. It's like a counter exclusive where it's on everything else except for the direct competition. Like the Ori games, they're on Switch, they're on PC, they're not on PlayStation.
Right. Hold on. I have to run upstairs, grab my charger, and run back down. If I get loud up here, this podcast is going to end.
Okay.
But yeah, so like, I don't know. I feel like I've made a lot of my points, but I've also been proven wrong on a couple of things, a few things, many things. But I've made my points so far at this point in time. I've made them. Have they all stuck? No.
But that's arguments.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I'm back downstairs, so we can talk again. But so yeah, I've played a lot of the exclusives for, all of the consoles. 3 of the 4 for Microsoft, a lot of the PlayStation ones, and pretty much all of the Nintendo ones. Now, James, I want to go to another topic that you were talking about in our uneducated debate. You guys brought up the counterpoint when I was talking about IPs of Nintendo not doing new IPs, and I couldn't off the top of my head think of many, but that's a fault in my own brain because as soon as I looked it up, I was like, since 2000, they've had a lot.
Have they all been successful?
Yeah, considering 2 of them got releases in the last 2 years that have been really good, and one of the Switch's top sellers. So we already have Splatoon and Xenoblade.
Yes, I would.
Luigi's Mansion. Wario.
That wasn't really that new.
It's a Mario spin-off.
Luigi's Mansion is a new IP.
It's a Mario spin-off.
That's a spin-off, my dude.
Luigi's Mansion is an IP. It's his own
It's
IP.
based off of a franchise that's already established.
Yes.
I wouldn't call that new. I'd say it's a new series, not a new franchise.
A new series is a new IP. An IP is just a game franchise.
No.
An intellectual property is a copywritten collection of stories and such.
That is original to it itself.
Yes.
Which makes Luigi's Mansion
It is
that.
not original
No,
to itself.
Luigi's not an original character. The ghosts,
Okay, I guess
kind of original. Yeah, I'd say the ghosts are original characters, but the rest, no. Toads, no. Would you say Toads are an original character?
Nope.
I thought you meant by IP.
I wouldn't even call Professor.
series.
Wait, no, Professor Gaster was original to Luigi's Mansion.
But it's not a platform. Like,
Professor
what would you say
Egad.
it's a spin-off of?
It's a spin-off of the Mario series.
Mario franchise, Mario IP. Yes,
Yeah,
it
but,
is
like,
its own thing.
It's
It
completely
uses Mario
different.
characters. You literally reference Mario in the game.
All right, and WarioWare is another one that I found, but I guess the same applies.
Yes. I guess different gameplay and different
Established
games
off of
also.
Mario.
Yeah.
It's established off of Mario.
Yes.
It's kind of
Wow, new IPs based off of the Mario IP.
Mario. Completely new IP, guys. Don't look too hard into it.
Oh, well, there's also Eternal Darkness.
Okay, Eternal Darkness. There.
Yes, but that was only one game. It wasn't.
I mean, that's not really a franchise then either.
It's an IP.
It is an IP. Yes, I'll agree with you on that.
New IP.
You asked for IPs, and it was a successful game. Oh, Golden Sun. I forgot that was in the 2000s. Golden Sun, yeah. Although I wouldn't consider that super successful, but it was successful at its time.
Also, wasn't it a different company that Nintendo bought that made it like Loft?
Let me check. My Golden Sun fans are going to hate me because I haven't played it in a while, guys. Look, I'm a big fan of the series. Haven't played it in a while. I'm sorry that I don't know.
No, it seems like it's Nintendo.
And I'm pretty sure it is, but let me look it up.
Yeah, it's solely a Nintendo.
Yeah. Developed and published by Nintendo, with help from Camelot.
Yeah.
Okay, so they helped, but it was Nintendo.
Yes.
So I would count that as a new IP. Now, Pikmin, obviously, was another big one that I don't know how I forgot.
It usually underperforms, but yes.
Unfortunately, but it's successful for its niche, I would say. And then of course, the big one that we all forgot, the Wii games, Wii Sports. Has its own IP. It's the Mii's.
Will we consider it successful though?
Wii Sports.
Those were sold along with the games.
Wii Sports, Wii Sports Resort, Wii Play. Why do you think there were so many that were released?
They were sold along with the console.
Only the first Wii Sports was.
Okay.
I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. Only the first Wii Sports was. The rest you had to buy on its own, and they were pretty successful.
Yes, they were.
Then.
While Wii Play, the biggest selling point was that it came with a different. It came with a remote. It was the price of a remote, and you got a free game with it.
Yeah.
But that's
So I would have also added Mario and Luigi RPG, but we're not doing that because
Plus,
I wanted to say Advance Wars, but technically it was out on the NES and SNES, but it was dead. Like nobody knew what it was, and then it revived. But not a new IP, so I took it off the list. I already said Xenoblade. I found this one. I don't know what it is, so I don't know how successful it can be. But Pandora's Tower, whatever that, I don't know what that is, but You know,
It's a very niche RPG for the Wii that didn't even come to the US until the fans outcried.
It must be very niche because I don't know it. And
It was one of the
Rhythm,
2 RPGs, one of them being Xenoblade, that fans wanted to be brought to it.
got it. Hey, Joey.
Yeah.
Rhythm Heaven.
Okay.
When was that though?
Rhythm
I
Heaven
feel
is
like
successful.
those games were like a little bit outside of the 20-year mark.
I'm on a list of 50 new IPs since the year 2000.
That's an odd specific number, but okay. That's an odd one, but okay.
It doesn't.
And-
It's not counting success. It's just new IPs from Nintendo.
Yeah.
Let me clarify for you though, just for the sake of argument. Rhythm Heaven. I always forget how to spell the word. I got it right. I always forget how to spell the word rhythm. When did Rhythm Heaven 1 come out?
Oh yeah, that was in the
That was Rhythm 10 Goku,
Oh,
and it was exclusive to the Japan region, which
God damn. Yeah,
there's Rhythm 10 Goku, which was for
Yep.
the Game Boy Advanced, and then there's Rhythm Heaven, which is gold in our or in their country. It's just regular Rhythm Heaven in ours. It came out on the
2008.
DS.
Yes, 2008.
Yes, I am oddly knowledgeable about this.
Oddly, you are very knowledgeable about all of these things.
Yes. I spend most of my time just watching informational videos about this shit because I have nothing better to do. And by nothing better to do, I mean nothing better that I want to do.
I love Endless Ocean, but the more I look at it from like an objective standpoint, and the more I hear people talk about it, apparently it's not very successful. But I loved Endless Ocean, and it was a new IP, but it was not very successful. But anyway, I think my point has been made that they have made plenty of new IPs that are successful.
And now I'm going to make a counterpoint. New IPs can also be unsuccessful and risky. Microsoft does have the money to make new IPs, but do they want to risk it? And that is another reason. It's a good reason to not like Microsoft for not risking it, for like making new things or recreating old ones.
They don't try anything new. They're boring.
Not try anything new.
But they try things that are old that work.
They do an established IP, and a lot of them, and it works for them.
So, but that's where another part. So that stems back to the original hypothesis question of why do you think that they would still be successful if Halo had not come out on the Xbox?
Then they would have bought something else. They either would have. They still would have had resources to.
They would have just why not just throw money at everything?
Yes, and it would have been successful, Mike. You're just making it sound like it wouldn't, like not having resources.
Are you kidding me? Nintendo does that. Sony does that.
Nintendo does that. They all do that. They've been saying Microsoft was at a point where it could easily just throw money at it.
There was a joking voice in that statement on purpose.
Yes, and we know, but we're being factual. We're giving you facts.
You're being
giving you a reason why they would have been successful.
I'm being facetious.
I feel like they would have came up with something that would have helped them out.
But have they shown you anything that they can do that in the last 20 years?
No, but they haven't, because they've been successful.
Buy anything there. They have enough money that they could have bought anything that they could have just put money into.
Yes,
and I dislike that in its most primal state, that they can just.
And then they could have put money into that franchise to try and make it better.
Well, and if you like that in its primal state, then you dislike every single gaming company.
I do.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I dislike companies as a whole. I don't like that. I don't like the idea of just buying success.
Yes, because exclusives are basically just buying.
To use it in order to use it well.
However, Nintendo puts a lot of heart and soul into a lot of their IPs, and that's why they get the quality.
And then the moment that their IPs are successful, they rip the heart out and then just continue sucking it and
mindlessly making it for, generations.
Some of them, yes, I will give you that, but I won't give you the full point on that because I believe that
a lot of them.
A lot of them.
I would say
a lot of them.
No, I won't give you that one. I'll give you partial.
They leave a lot of things in the
Zelda. They do it for literally anything that their hands have touched. Pokemon.
Okay. Yes, I'm gonna give an example from a different company that everybody loves. Disney. They keep things in their vault to artificially inflate.
Like
Exactly. I don't like Disney either. I don't like their corporation. I like what they have, but I don't like their corporation.
I don't like any corporate. I don't like any
Exactly.
corporate. I don't like any corporate. I don't know how. I don't know if I did or didn't make that clear, but I don't.
Then why are you being so unfair to Microsoft when they do
Because I feel
literally the
like they
exact
do
same
it the
everything to
worst.
everyone else?
I feel like
No,
they do it the worst.
no,
They do it
I
around the
don't feel
same.
they do it around the
They are
same.
big ticket
It's
money
just because
grabs.
it affected you specifically that you have a personal grudge against them because they didn't make the exact thing that you wanted. But you know, the people that got freaking hurt by Sony's and freaking Nintendo's one is completely ignored by
I got
you
hurt by
because
them too.
Yes,
What do
but
you
you don't
mean?
hate them. You hate Microsoft.
Microsoft.
I hate Microsoft because they never gave me anything that I liked anyway.
Okay,
And
there's
you're
your
saying that
bias.
they're objectively bad.
Yes, I'm biased. Everybody's biased. I've admitted
Yes.
that. That's not a point.
Yes. Why don't you just take my Zen point of view where everything is great and everything's terrible at the same
Look,
time?
I like the reason why I give Nintendo a pass is because their games, in my opinion, have more heart.
I feel
And
like you're looking at it a different lens than I am, but okay.
that's fine.
I
And for
mean,
PlayStation, I believe that I don't know. I don't really know why I like PlayStation more than Xbox. I guess it's just because Microsoft isn't involved. But
yes, and Microsoft makes enough money to buy enough IPs that are good.
and
And
I don't.
and so do PlayStation.
Nintendo doesn't. Nintendo's done it before, but Nintendo doesn't just go out and buy IPs.
Yes, they do.
They kind of
Name
do.
5.
Just
Oh
off the,
boy.
Name 3.
Okay. So we talked about the Bayonetta one recently.
Okay. Yes, that was the only one that I'm really versed in.
They did a
And
lot
I'm
of
saying bought them,
Ubisoft as
not things that were
well.
made by a third party thing that was made that published for things.
Ubisoft.
so not second parties.
No, so if it's published by them and they didn't just buy the franchise, that's different.
Okay,
Buying it
should I
from
get a
Sega,
list out? Should I get a list out?
buying Bayonetta from Sega to publish it, that's a good example. But like, if you're gonna say like Fire, for example, is Intelligent Systems, but it's published by Nintendo, so that's not an example. It wasn't bought from another company who was publishing it. It was made for Nintendo,
I
published
mean,
by Nintendo.
Astral Chain was made for Nintendo, made by Platinum. In which case, Bayonetta
No.
developers. Am I wrong? Did Platinum not make Astral Chain?
No, yes, I'm saying, but that's not. Astral Chain wasn't made for a different company. It wasn't a bought IP.
Yeah.
It was made for Nintendo by a company that works under Nintendo. Bayonetta was an IP that was made. That
So
was
how did they
bought
get that company again? Or was it made as Nintendo? Or did they buy it beforehand?
for what? For Astral Chain? I don't know the whole story, but it wasn't. They acquired Platinum Games for Bayonetta, I believe.
What about Fatal
Um,
Frame?
Acquired. You say acquired.
What does
Wasn't
acquired mean? Obtained, bought, took.
wasn't Fatal Frame made by a different developer until Nintendo bought it?
Yeah.
Let me fact check that for you because I have Google. I don't know much about Fatal Frame, to be honest with you. So I will check that. Fatal Frame.
Yeah, the first Fatal Frame was on the PS2. And they bought them out.
Did they buy it out, or is it just now on multiple series?
No,
Or
it's
multiple
only on
consoles?
Nintendo. At least I think so. Let me fact
No.
check it.
No, it's on Nintendo. It's on PlayStation. It's on Microsoft.
Maiden of the Black Water? The most recent one?
I just looked at the franchise as a whole.
You know what? Yeah, it is. It is
Yeah,
on multiple
it is.
things.
Yeah.
But certain games were exclusive before. It's weird.
Yeah, but it's not.
Companies are weird. Ownership is weird. Like, would you consider?
Yeah.
Would you consider Pokemon owned by Nintendo? Yes, because they first made it, but then now Game Freak makes it because it's a separate subsidiary, and things are weird.
Yeah, but Nintendo didn't buy Pokemon. I know you're not saying
they
they did.
need it and then,
Yeah, exactly.
still own it and not
So
do
you've
any work for
you've
it.
got one. You've got Bayonetta, and that's the only one that I really knew of.
They also are not putting in any of the work of the companies though, as well.
It's
But
not the topic at hand.
your initial point. was
Which
that
was?
there's no soul into it, and they do the work for it. Meanwhile, they have several companies that they own that do the
No,
work
my
for
original
them.
point was, do you think Halo would succeed with Xbox would succeed without Halo?
I'm
Yeah,
not
probably.
talking about that original point. I'm talking. You're just freaking splitting hairs now. Okay, then.
That's what you guys did to me all last night.
Yes.
No, you're just being a little. You're just being a little. I'm trying not to say it. I'm
I'm
trying
being a
not
little bitch.
No, you're being a little freaking sassy motherfucker right now. Little
Sussy bot.
sassy. And just going like, oh no, my original point was this, knowing clearly what I was talking
I'm being
about.
a child. I get it. All right, go on.
Yes,
You got Bayonetta, so that's one. You guys are saying that they do it all the time, so there's got to be more.
they do, but there's not really ones that you point out. They're not like good or do well afterwards.
And if we're going by success, that was your point. We're going by success.
Then Nintendo has crushed the success for other Nintendo properties. Then
What? Okay, restate that sentence because you jumbled a bit. I don't know what you just said.
Nintendo has bought companies that have since tanked since buying them.
Which happens. I'm not blaming Xbox alone for every company that failed. It happens. Sometimes it just doesn't work.
But you are blaming Xbox for like Rare not doing well.
I am blaming Xbox for Rare. That's not one of the ones that I think is just a thing that happened. We have people who worked at Rare high up saying that they wouldn't greenlight games even though they were successful in the past. If that's not tanking a company, then James, come on, what is?
Not greenlighting a game doesn't mean that it's taking.
It's killing a franchise. What do you mean?
They don't think it would have been successful. There's a difference.
How can you say that Banjo-Kazooie, the actual third game, wouldn't have been successful when the previous two were?
Time frame, the money that they would have put into it. I feel like they wouldn't have.
They didn't put a lot of money into the first two. It was for the N64.
Just because it was made for the N64 doesn't mean they didn't put a lot of money into it.
It means that it's
not.
I see. Now you're doing what I just did.
Yes, it's called karma.
You're being a little bitch.
We're all being little bitches right now. This is just a fucking like argument. It's discourse.
Look,
it's the name of the podcast.
At the end of the, I just found a bra in my bar.
What?
Don't worry about it.
There's just a bra underneath a blanket in the bar. There's no girl here. I don't know where this came from.
Oh god, I just killed one of my men. I exited.
You found a bra in your bar. Sounds like a dyslexia.
A dyslexic man walked into a bra.
Yes, but okay. Basically, there's a difference between IPs that were made, that were bought out, and then made for sequels for the console that it was bought out by. I know that sounds weird. Do you understand?
No. Not at all.
So, Bayonetta was originally by Platinum. Then, Nintendo bought them out, and they
Sega.
made Bayonetta 2.
Right.
Nintendo isn't really known for doing that, but they are known for their own first parties or IPs that they lend to other people to make games for them.
I was gonna say they don't lend their IPs to anybody. They're stingy as hell. But
Pokemon Go.
In that regard, yes. To other companies of their own, yes, they do. But I thought, like, at first you were like, they lend their IPs. I'm like, wait a second. This is Nintendo we're talking about, right?
Nintendo's a second party and first party developer. They don't do third party.
No, they don't.
Yes. I wouldn't say any
Which
of
is
them.
a problem. I think they should.
Yes. Whereas, wait, you said they should. Okay, now this is my point. Xbox is more of a third-party developer and first-party developer.
All right, but Nintendo's more of a second-party developer, so fuck you.
Wow. Damn. See, the thing is, Xbox makes games for the Xbox, or Microsoft makes games for the Xbox with their first and second-party companies, because there's like Xbox Game Studios, which is like partnered with different studios like Double Fine, other stuff. There's a lot. It's very complicated. But okay, with Microsoft, they make games for the Xbox and for other systems, just not PlayStation. And when they do, it's usually a company that they bought out, but they still bring in direction with those. And I'd say PlayStation does that too. They both do that.
Okay.
Except I'd say Sony is more for exclusives, where they buy out companies so that they can only make things for their own systems. Where I like Xbox better because they buy out companies and they still release them on different hardware.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, PlayStation, it has the exclusives.
The thing is, they could have made more exclusives, decided not to.
Yes, because they wanted to share the fun, which you're saying there's limited fun
You're
to be
able
had.
to sell it more by... I mean, you're able to sell more of that game on other consoles because you decide, hey, let's make sure that everyone has access to it.
And remember,
I think it's a better strategy.
Consoles are sold at a loss. You have to remember this. So maybe the more successful thing to do is release a console that nobody wants to buy, but people buy their games anyway on different systems.
It's a lot of
It's
a lot of
weird.
things that make the hardware the thing that you lose money on as well. But you have the software or the secondary item be the thing that really costs money. Like for printers and ink.
Right.
But then it goes back to your whole argument with Xbox not being successful, but the thing is, people still buy it.
I didn't say they weren't successful.
Not the most successful.
Xbox is very successful. I just don't like them.
Yes.
The original point being, okay, yeah, we've established that. Okay,
Yes.
Have we? I don't know.
Original point being, would they be as successful without Halo? And I would say yes, because Microsoft is a huge
company that could easily probably put it onto something else rather than just Halo.
All right, you want to hear something revolutionary?
What?
You guys have convinced me in one aspect of something big.
Nice.
I do believe now that Xbox would be successful had Halo not come out.
Yes.
However,
it's only because Microsoft was really big and they would have just been like, we'll just pour money into it.
Exactly. Wow, you hit that right on the nail.
So
That
we're
was
also going to put
exactly
it in
what
a
I was
world where
gonna
Microsoft isn't successful at all outside of Xbox.
In a world where Microsoft isn't successful at all, Xbox wouldn't have come to fruition.
Exactly.
Same could be said for Nintendo and Sony, though.
Yes, but that makes your point moot, not mine.
What?
You're the one who brought. James is the one who just said if Microsoft hadn't been successful, then whatever.
Then Xbox wouldn't have been successful. That's just not a fair thing to say because Nintendo wouldn't have been successful if it didn't already have established as a
I'm not the one who made that point. That was you.
I didn't say to make that point. I'm saying that's a bad argument. Are you going to say that Nintendo? Microsoft,
good.
You're the one that was going to make the point that if Xbox didn't have Microsoft behind it, would it be not have succeeded?
Microsoft is what made Xbox.
Yes, obviously.
Sony is what made PlayStation.
Yes, obviously.
And Sony started out making TVs and stuff and disk drives.
Okay, so I'm having that brain moment last time. I feel like I missed a step in the conversation.
Honestly, same.
I am so lost.
Same.
I don't know what the point you're making is because you're without
point.
Microsoft, would it be?
I haven't made a point. That's the thing. You
were going to ask.
No.
Without Microsoft,
we're gonna watch the fucking film. You said.
Listen.
Okay. Can we get off this topic? It's you said that I said that you said that you were going to say.
Okay.
Can we just?
We realized there's no points that were trying to be made. We've realized that. I wasn't trying to make any points. I didn't remember. Okay, good.
You were going to ask the question, not the point. You're going to ask.
What question was I going to ask?
You've already forgotten. Understandable.
Let's just. Are we going to move on? Are we going to just end this? Or what are we going to do?
1 hour 40, 1 hour 37 minutes in. Mike gets so confused. I have to look. I have to just go to the
It's-
timestamp and
what
just be
time is
like,
it?
"What the hell happened?"
It's 1:00. It's 1:00. I think we're all just tired at this point.
I'm not tired. I could go another hour. I hate Microsoft.
Like you
All
gotta
right.
let it go. You gotta let it go. The crash of the gaming company was several years ago, Mike. You gotta let it go. It wasn't Microsoft's fault.
It was not. It was a lot of things. It was Atari's fault.
Okay then.
How the fuck does
Are we
Atari come
done
into it?
here? Are we done here? I don't want to talk
Well,
about
no,
Atari.
Atari was the initial reason why the video game crashed. Oh, you're talking about the recent one. I was talking about the first one.
I thought you were talking about Rare.
No.
Oh my God.
I was on a
my-
different. I was 30
At
years.
this point, I
before
feel
that.
like we should just cut it off here. We've
Yeah, I
lost
think we're just
a lot of
delirious now. We're gonna continue repeating the same things over and over again without
Let's
getting
end it.
anywhere.
All right, yeah.
Let's end
Let's
it here.
let's wrap it up. At the end of the day,
Microsoft is not going to change his
I
opinion.
dislike Microsoft. I dislike Microsoft, and I dislike Xbox because I believe PlayStation and Nintendo provide better alternatives. But I'm not an online player, so a lot of that is why Xbox is successful. James,
Yes.
Mike believes that because he doesn't fit into the category or
oh bitch,
the category that goes for Xbox.
you son
None
of
of
a
the stuff
bitch.
appeals to him, so therefore it's bad company.
You son of a bitch. That was such a petty. That was so petty, and
And because they bought out one company that appealed to him and then ruined it. Just one company. Yes, it was a good company, but it was one company. He doesn't like them.
Like it.
That is a very valid. Ruining almost getting rid of Donkey Kong Country, getting rid of Banjo Kazooie, getting rid of Conquer. It's a valid reason to dislike somebody.
I feel like there's a lot of stuff that it feels like it's out of their control. I feel like it's just an unfair thing.
I feel like if you keep talking, we're going to go back into this debate.
with so much in development, just on making the actual game, not the business side of it. There's a lot that just makes it hard to do any of that.
We might do this. We might do this debate again in a year and see if we've changed at all or gotten better. We might make an update.
Are completely the same, and you guys can hear it again.
Yes. At the end of the day, I dislike Microsoft, and therefore, by bias, I dislike Xbox. And some of the reasons are hypocritical, and I admit that. Doesn't mean I'm going to change. Just means I acknowledge it. This has been a lot of fun. I got kind of heated, pretty heated at times. This was pretty heated at times, as you could tell.
Yes, and it was actually genuinely heated. Before this, we were like, "Oh, hey, what if we just interrupt people and accidentally do this?" This got heated.
This wasn't fake.
I was prepared to pretend, I was preparing both of them and myself. I was like, we're just gonna pretend to interrupt each other to try to rebuild the heated tension of the actual debate that we didn't film. No, this got heated. But at the end of the day, it got
too in past at occasions of what it was before.
At the end of the day, the three of us are very, very, very close, good friends. A debate about video game companies is not going to hurt us. We're fine. We're not going to kill each other. We still are friends. This isn't the end of the podcast. Whether we disagree or not, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, and that's what's important to note.
Yes.
Especially in the holidays.
Bad opinion.
Shut the fuck up. Especially in the spirit of the holiday season, where you need to care about each other, you need to respect one another, and be there as family. Treat your friends as family. I consider you two family, and that is not a cliche for the film. I genuinely consider you two to be an extension in my family.
Yeah, you're kind of an uncle to me.
Oh, thanks, Mike. Am I actually invited back to the family dinner now?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. I'm not actually going to his family dinner. It's COVID, so, not going to happen.
As long as you don't bring your Xbox, you can come.
I will only bring my Xbox.
I will actively bring my Xbox and my Xbox.
Yeah, this was a very heated debate, but between good friends, it's all water under the bridge. So our first video, when we come out back from Christmas break, because we're obviously not going to do a Christmas day because we all have families and we're all busy. We're not going to make a Christmas day special. That's why we did Christmas week to lead up to it. The first episode of January is going to be a very very hot topic. It's going to be video game movies, which is something
Especially
that's
with
really
Sonic.
something's really come up in the media lately. It's been on the rise.
Yeah, it's very hard to make interactive medium into uninteractive medium.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some stuff is doing really well about it.
I didn't
I
say
mean,
it's impossible. I just said it's hard.
All right, we're
Yeah.
in heated debate mode. We're not gonna get. Let's stop.
We're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to get anywhere right at this point. We're heated
All right.
debate and also tired mode.
All right. So have a great holiday. Happy New Year's. Happy Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Whatever the hell
Happy
you celebrate.
holidays.
Happy Atheist Day. Whatever you celebrate. Doesn't matter. Have a good holiday. And I've been Mike. This is Mike.
I've been James.
And I've been Joey.
And this was the Game Room Discourse, end of the Christmas week. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you.